My friends, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday morning. It is March the 18th, and it's a little chilly out there. This is Coffee Talk, Rise and Shine. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather, hopefully getting your day started off on the right note. We'll have some fun, we'll have some information with weather, and, you know, maybe a double entendre here and there. Live look outside on our Tower Cam network. Top left showing a nice chilly Ocala, 39 degrees. Spring what? Spring break? You kidding me? Okay, all right. Daytona Beach, you're at 48 degrees. Tourist district, I see Swan, Dolphin, and Riviera. We're sitting in the mid 50s, and a beautiful shot looking over to Tavares. Tower Cam network there showing that bright sunshine. It's 51 degrees just up the road in Leesburg, so it is a lovely start. Here's a look around Central Florida at the different temperatures, right? And you see 50s in Brevard County, 40s for Volusia Flagler, and 30s there in Ocala. Love that. It's a beautiful morning. It's a nice and chilly start to the day. Our first warning live Doppler radar, scanning around, not finding anything. Gotta love this kind of a forecast. So, with that said, then we get to move on and look at the rebound of temperatures. Remember, average high temperature this time of year is nearly 80 degrees. It's like 78, 79 degrees. We'll look at that in a second. But there you go. Staying breezy, 10, 15 miles an hour, 72 by 2 o'clock, 76 by 3 o'clock. That's going to be our high temperature. And here's a look at the high temperatures around Central Florida. And yeah, like I'd mentioned, right? Average high is 79. So we're going to be hanging out just a few ticks below that. Notice some of our shoreline communities not making it out of the 60s, whereas the rest of us get into the 70s. So it looks good. It's going to feel good. And I'm happy to say it's not just looking good for today, but the next couple of days are looking lovely. If you've got out and about plans, spring begins on Thursday, right as those temperatures are hanging out in the 80s, right? So today may be cool, but we're right back to the 80s tomorrow and Thursday. I would say that for me, whatever activities you've got planned for today are looking great as long as they're outside. Yeah. Now, of course, with spring beginning in just 2 days, a reminder it's not like the average high changes much. Average high stays right where it is, 79, right? Average low, 56. So at the moment, we can confirm we are hanging below average, right? Then the temperature's warm as I showed you, getting into the 80s. Then another cold front sneaks our direction. So if Thursday's a high of 83, Friday back to a high of 71. So let's look at the 7-day forecast because apparently we've got some ups and downs, right? 70s today, 80s for our Wednesday and our Thursday. Then a super quick front drops us down Friday and then puts us right back into the warmth for Saturday and Sunday, back into the mid 80s. That looks gorgeous. So we've got a little bit of up and a little bit of down. First sip of coffee. Anybody else? Ready? Ziggy zaggy zaggy. Okay. That first sip of the day. It's like a warm hug and a teddy bear and a blanket all in one lovely package. All right. Carbon Fiber says, I don't think that area of interest will develop. Yes. So I wanted to talk a little bit about our local forecast before I get to the tropics. What? Yeah. I was at the Science Center yesterday and was kind of watching this, and then the Hurricane Center put out an update. And I was like, well, I've got to make a video. So my video is very much me in the cafeteria at the Science Center. But out past Bermuda, out past Puerto Rico, out past the Turks and Caicos, this little area here, non-tropical, basically a gale low. It's not expected to develop, but it's there. And it's at least important to keep in mind because we know for a fact that hurricane season is just a mere few days, I say a few days away. It's less than 100 days away, 75 days away. Now, for those of you tracking, month of March, have we ever gotten anything there? The answer is yes. We've seen tropical development every month of the year. However, the last storm to develop during the month of March was 1908. I did not independently verify that. Let me go do that real fast just to make sure that Manolfi's data is correct. All right, I'm opening up my spreadsheet. Just bear with me a second. I need to get this from Phil Klotzbach. All right, so give it a second. Tropical activity between days. 1 to 3:30. Named storm days. 1 in 1908. I'm just looking to see if there's any others. Okay, so it's just 1908. I had to independently verify, y'all. Don't get mad at me. Independently verified and confirmed. Can you be mad at me? I just wanted to make sure I was giving you the right information. Not to say that he wasn't, but trust but verify, right? Anyway, that's right. John said it. Trust but verify. Um, did we just go back to the 80s? Hey, trust but verify. That's all. So anyway, this little area is not expected to develop. Okay. But when we look at the overall cycling weather pattern, we're kind of hanging out right now in the Raphael part of the pattern, which was November 11th and November 12th. So watching the go, not expecting anything to develop, but anyway, just suffice it to say, something out there. Good reminder. Let's see here. Going through my bullet points here. Good reminder. Hurricane season is coming. Need to be starting to prep. Your favorite meteorologists, whether whether it's at WESH or elsewhere, we're all working on hurricane specials. We're already starting to work on ours at WESH. So, just a reminder, right? That's all. Ah, all right. Make you think to get ready for hurricane season, Paula says. Yes, that's right. Happy birthday, John Ross, turning 36 today. Love it. Debbie says, I think we need a scorecard for the storms, past and upcoming. I mean, I have all the scorecards you need. What do you need? Manolfi keeps a scorecard. There's literally a graphic in this database called Tropical Scorecard. Scorecard. I'm going to open up the scorecard. This was his tropical scorecard from last year. Like that the file's name is Tropical Scorecard 2024. So anyway, yeah, this is what to expect for a preseason disturbance. Nothing, but it's just a reminder. And we were looking. It's funny. We were looking at it on the models just a couple of days ago, and it's like, what are you doing out there? Not expected to do much, but just a good reminder. Spring begins. Hurricane season gets going in a couple of months, so let's be dialed in. Okay. All right. Tropical development in March is not on my bingo card. Well, and I don't think that this is going to develop tropically, but it's something there. Okay. Hey, while we're talking about spring, though, spring break and all that stuff, if anybody's looking for something to do today, there is a Falcon 9 launch at 3:57. So if anybody's looking for activities this afternoon, I may see something. All right. All right. So, we were talking a little bit about this disturbance out here and it not developing, but it is a good opportunity to pause and look at tropical basin temperatures. Climate reanalyzer. Every time I pull this up, though, I have to preface it by saying I do not control the titles of the sections. So, for example, there is a section that's labeled Gulf of Mexico, and I know that this has become a political thing. I am not calling it the Gulf of Mexico, nor am I calling it the Gulf of America. Not because I'm against any one or another, but because I always try to take the Dolly Parton mentality, which is I don't want to make anybody frustrated or mad. So to that point, I'm going to call it the Gulf. And I'll keep everybody as happy as I can. All right. But the chart's going to say it because it's not my data. I'm pulling this off of the Climate Reanalyzer, but it's a really cool little resource that lets you look and find essentially temperatures. So let's zoom in. First off, notice here we are, we're kind of, oh, I need to do it on your side. Sorry. Notice here we are, right? We're toward the bottom of things, but we're going to start to bring things up over the next few months. Now, if I were to zoom in, that red line is our current state of temperatures in the Gulf. So what is it? One, two, we're in third/fourth warmest ever in the Gulf. Okay. North Atlantic. There's the North Atlantic. What am I looking for? Atlantic hurricane. So this is the Atlantic hurricane main development region. One, two, three, four, five, or sixth warmest in the Atlantic main development region. So anyway, I'm only showing this because while we're talking about anything tropical, even though this is not going to develop, it's not going to become anything big and scary, which is good news. It's a good reminder that, like, we are nice and warm, okay? And to that point, that's right, carbon fiber, just calling it the Gulf. The Gulf. Don't want to make anybody mad. We all call it the Gulf, no problem. When we say the Gulf, we know. That's right. Anyone know if there will be a sonic boom on the Gulf side? SpaceX returning the astronauts this afternoon. So I don't anticipate it because it's going to be in the Gulf. The re-entry points are in the Gulf. If we did, let's see here, Sky Vector is a free website. I've got my ForeFlight, but I don't think ForeFlight's going to work over here. So you're talking about re-entry. So let's put this on for TFRs. So this is where they're going. Okay, so Sky Vector. So this is a website that anybody can use for planning purposes for aviation. But this little red box here out in the Gulf, that is where the astronauts are going to be landing. That's the temporary flight restriction. TFR space operations, and that's from 21:45 Zulu to 22:15 Zulu. So, yeah, it's going to be a while. So 10 hours from now. But that's the dot. That's where the astronauts will be landing. So I would suspect that you'll probably have an opportunity to hear some sonic booms up around the Panhandle, but yeah, not over on the peninsula side where we are. Okay, but anyway, so that's one way that you can check that out and see. Yeah. All right. We good? All right. So that said, then we've got. I feel like we've already covered so many bases. We've already covered so many bases. I love it. I love it. Matt says love Sky Vector. You know what's cooler than Sky Vector is ForeFlight, but I don't think ForeFlight. I've got my computers logged in, but I don't know if I were to my account map. Where's the map? ForeFlight. ForeFlight web. So I've got it there. I'm just curious if this will work. Studio mode, if it would work when I put it over to the broadcast side. Yeah, okay, it's not. That's what I figured. Anyway, okay. I had to try. I had to try. All right. May we look at the winds today? Amy's asking. Sure. So it's going to be breezy again. That much we know. So let's do this. We'll look at Futurecast with winds. Futurecast should not show a ton. Obviously, it's going to be a pretty nice and quiet day. All right. So, first off, winds out of the north. Doot, 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 doot. Lunchtime, 15 20 along the shoreline. Yeah. Still a breeze today, but won't be as windy as yesterday. Correct, carbon fiber. Yeah. There's 2, there's 3 o'clock. I mean, getting up to 20 in the metro for sure. And then into tonight, it kind of starts to calm down a little bit. And then tomorrow morning, look at that. Kind of more of a drainage flow than anything. So, yeah, gusty today. Not as bad as yesterday, but getting better for the next couple of days. I would add, by the way, so with spring break, it's important to note temperatures today are going to be hanging out in the 70s. So it's looking better than yesterday in terms of a pool forecast. I would still say it's just okay. Even if you have a pool heater, it's just an okay day because it's gusty, and I always use the litmus of 80. So tomorrow we're going to get to good slash great for the pool forecast. That's what I'm telling the kids. So for today, for spring breakers, I'm still going to say it's an okay day. It's not perfect because it's still going to be, yeah. Right? All right. Questions, comments, concerns, my friends. Been windy up here in St. Augustine and Chile. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I mean we had a cold front move through. That's the way it goes sometimes, right? Cold front moves through, kind of churns things up just a little bit. Such is life, you know? Yeah. Pollen count. High. Back to you, Bob. Back to you, Susan. Yeah. High. Heather needs coffee. I love the official pool forecast graphic. Well, I have to have something to show my kids. But Dad, we want to go to the pool. It's a nice hot. The pool's nice and hot. Yeah, but the air is not. Yesterday, no pool for them. Today, I mean, yesterday would have been a bad day. Today, borderline. So maybe they end up in there. I don't know. I don't know. We might. We might. Janice, I think so. So far, so good. Haven't kicked anybody out, right? We're surviving. I guess that's good. That's how you get sick, Tiffany says. Okay, let's talk about that. Isn't bacteria and germs how you get sick? What's your favorite pool temp? My pool is sitting right now at 87 degrees. In spring, I keep it at about 87. Today I'm, 87. And then for summer, we hang around 85. What about you guys? What's your thought? The kids might be in the pool. Yeah, I don't know that I will, but tomorrow when we get to the 80s for me, that's the air temperature that I get in the pool at. Anything less, probably not. Yeah. I will definitely be using that with my kids too. There you go. See, Heather, we got you. Tomorrow we'll make it a little different. Jeannie Rowan says, when I was a kid, we did not care the water temp. A perfect 80-degree water temp is required now. Yeah. 80 is a little chilly for me. When we first got the heater, I set it to 80 and I was like, this is not going to fly. And I found in the spring, when the air temperature's cooler, when the breeze is breezier, 87 seems to be my number. And then during the summer, it's 85, which it pretty much, second half of the summer, it just holds it. Yeah. Bacteria and germs are how you get sick, not weather, Wendy says. Right? Now, does the weather like could get in your body cold? Does that not perhaps lower your immune system? Like that's a possibility, right? As a kid in South Carolina, Matt says, we would have to wait until the pool temp was 65 to go in. That's when we took the pool cover off. The pool naturally was at like 64 when I kicked on the pool heater. Yeah. Yeah. Jeannie Rowan says, holy cow, hot tub. Hey, when we were building this house, the wife didn't want a hot tub, so I just decided I was gonna make the whole dang pool a hot tub. Oh man, when you get wet and then get cold, you get sick. I mean, does it drop your immune system to which you're more susceptible? Perhaps. Terry says, but if you get too chilled, you invite stuffiness, which invites sticky. Well, that's it, right? If you get too chilled, then your immune system drops, and then anything could get you. Right. What's the average temperature at the end of March? All right, stand by, Houston. The March Almanac. Steven says, my pool is at 104 and shoots bubbles at you. And is it very, very small? There's the March temperature setup. So by the end of March, the average high is 81. Can't can't tell me you let the kids play in the cold without a jacket and they don't get sniffly. Warm pool water in the chilly air outside. Bam, sick. Tiffany, you're not wrong. Like this, I don't do any of those things. Anything I can do to keep the peace, right? But it's like the science brain in me and then the parent brain in me are fighting each other, right? Tiffany, and you know what I'm talking about. But yes, no, you're absolutely right. Bam. I just feel like I look at the kid the wrong way. Bam, sick. Then also, I feel like it's like, all right, let's go play with a different group of kids. Bam, sick, you know? So, anyway, the lake's warm up enough to go swimming here in June. Most people don't have pools because we have so many nice little lakes and rivers. There you go. You could let your children jump in the deep end, swim to the shallow end, and then get out and go take a warm shower. That's what I do. Pool temp yesterday was 72. I get along fine with no pool heater. I'm a wimp. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not even going to sugarcoat this. I am a wimp. Now, Frank says around 72 is my go time. And I would add, like, growing up, I used to go to this. I grew up here in Central Florida. Like, a part of your rite of passage is to go to the springs all the time. And I used to do that constantly. Rock Springs, Kelly Park, 2, 3 times a summer, you know? And if you've not been, like if you're a new Florida resident, you got to go check out the springs. They're so pretty. There's so many of them around. They're so pretty. Water temperature 72. When I was a kid, I was like, the first time you get in, it's like, ooh, this is awful. This is awful. Okay, we're good. We're good. Man, now I don't know that I would do that without a wetsuit. I know what I am. 85 or I'm not in, Ruth says. That's so funny. Yeah. There you go, Nikki. That sounds great. Barb says we took Jigsaw to our hot tub and it went in little by little. Are you talking about Jigsaw, the little creepy character from the Saw movies, or are you talking about like a dog? Matt says pool at 87. That's how you invite alligators to swim. I have a pool cage, so that stops theoretically the wildlife. Tiffany says cold plunge is great for your health. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to do that. Chris says April 1st looks like a good day to put up the above ground pool. Are you still running with the same one or have you gotten different ones, Chris? And I know they make some like heaters. So before we moved into this house, we didn't have a pool at our house, and so I went to the store and I bought one of these little inflatable pools. And I remember having conversations with Chris about this little inflatable pool, and I remember Chris got one. It worked, y'all. If you don't have a pool, you can. I think I spent $50. It's probably $100 now, but for this little, it I put it out on pavers and filled it up. Let me tell you something. My family made so much fun of me until they didn't make fun of me. I chlorinated it. It lasted for a season. Maybe it could have lasted more, but it was it for not having a pool. I had a pool. You couldn't go crazy in it, but man, y'all, those little what is it? Chris, where is it? I gotta find. Intex inflatable pool. Let's see where. Yeah, it was like this was it. This is a bigger version of it, but this is okay. Here from Walmart. All right, this is what I had. This is a bigger version. Maybe it's not. I can't remember what the sizing was. But if anybody is heading into the summer months, that's the pool on the top left. Of course, it doesn't have a background, so I have to make one. Of course. Hold on. Do that because. All right, that's fine enough. Yeah. So this pool is $103. I got to be honest with you guys. Like, summer's hot in these parts. It comes with a little filter. It doesn't use a ton of power. I would plug it in every day, turn on the little pump. And I remember I went to the pool store and I was like, "Hey, I need to get some chlorine tablets." And they're like, "How big is your pool?" And whatever this was, okay, water capacity 1,485 gallons. All right, so I said to them, I was like, "Yeah, it's like 1,500 gallons." And they're like, "For a pool?" And I said, "Don't judge me, just help me." That thing was great. That thing was great. At the time, I was super embarrassed about it. I didn't tell anybody. But you better believe every day I was in there. Every day, man. Every day. Just bought a new larger pool, added the 240. Okay, so you went for a so you did go with a big heater. Look at you. I mean, these things, I gotta be honest, in summer months, it's survival. It's survival. And I wish that I would have had wisdom back then to be like, y'all, like I've got pictures of me in this pool. It's I remember when I set it up, everybody in my family was just like, "What are you doing?" And then they got in the thing and they're like, "Okay, we get it. We get it." And I'll never forget, there was like a day where I got home from work, I looked out back and my brothers in laws were in there. And he was like, "Yeah, I was doing some planting around your house and I got hot, so I got in your pool." And it's like, see? You see? You can tease all you want until you use it. And then you're like, okay, this does the trick. So there you go. Oh, 8,000. Look at you, Chris Pierce. You got the big granddaddy. Costco will provide, is what we say in my house, right, Pat? Melanie says, I had one of those pools in Minnesota work. It works great. It works great. I left it up the entire I had left it up the entire summer. Some people put it up and take it down. I left it up the entire summer. It was great. It was great. Oliver says, we had an inflatable pool sent to us in Iraq, filled it outside our barracks, chilled in it as Marines ran by. They were very jealous. Freaking Army guys. There were more dudes in that water. There were more dudes than water in it. That's hilarious, Oliver. Hey, you had a good time, man. That's what it's about. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I love that. Chris says, "Yep, started with that pool. Now I have 18 by 24 by 52." Chris, I think that's bigger than I think my in-ground pool is 12 by 24. Oh man. Jeannie Rowan says, "This is like the frat dorm pool. Our HOA will not allow it, darn it." So, okay. So about that. I mean, I don't know that my HOA would have allowed it either. I still did it. Whoops. I'm sure my HOA would not have allowed it back in the day. Oh well. Karen says the only problem with that type of pool is that they're not ADA accessible. No, you're right. So my son cannot go swimming. Yeah, that's why we go to the lakes. They have no, that makes total sense, Karen. That makes total sense. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I get that, carbon fiber. Let's see here. After working in the heat, anything you can dunk in sounds good. That's you survival. That's it. Survival. Debbie says, I'm guessing Chris Pierce is on a different platform. Chris enjoys X recently. I see him commenting over on X. Yeah, so Chris is on X, but he's here, everybody. Yeah. Connie says, I love coffee talk. What will I do when I have to go back to teaching next week? You can watch it on the replay, although it's not going to be the chatting. But you can still watch it on the replay. Truck bed with tarp filled with water. Could do that. Yeah. Jeannie Rowan says, forgiveness is better than permission. That's kind of, there's a lot of truth to that, I think. Not everything, but there's a lot of truth to that. Janice says, if the HOA doesn't see it, you're good. That's it. I mean, unless the HOA walked into my backyard in my old house, they weren't going to see it. Now, in my current house, they don't you can see in my backyard because of the way that the fencing is. Because of the fencing that the HOA required me to get. I couldn't get the like privacy fencing. So anyway, if I did it at my current house, they would have been able to see, but whatever. Hey, we got to survive. Got to survive. Got to stay cool. YouTube is a more reliable feed, but the convo is better here on Facebook, Oliver says on Facebook. Crystal on YouTube says whatever works. Yeah. Tomorrow I might be on YouTube, Chris says. He's just changing it around, changing it around, changing it around. Dan Potter, no rain in Orlando, a sprinkle, but that's it. Yeah. Tim says unless you're on the HOA board and have to fine yourself. How about unless you're on the HOA board, then you're fine yourself? See what I did there? Oh, well. All right. My niece did the truck bed filled with water at Daytona Race Infield in July. That's so. I mean, I've seen a lot of those pools out when I was at Daytona for sure. It's like it was like 3:30 in the morning. 3:30 in the morning. And tons of soul in sight. See, I did the Garth Brooks. Anyway, it's like 3:30. We're driving the weather lab in there for coverage for it's not the Firecracker anymore. What is it? The Coke Zero Sugar, whatever it is. It's like 3:30 in the morning. There were a bunch of people sitting in those little pools drinking beer. I'm like, y'all, it's 4:30 in the morning. Are you still up or are you waking up with him? Oh well. All right. Questions, comments, concerns. Oh, Jan, that's funny. A wheelbarrow? That's fun. That's fun. It's easy when you fill the pool with someone else's water. That's the truth. Paying for it. That's the truth. That's the truth. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? In a moonless summer night. You got it, Terry. The pool brings everyone out to the yard. It's better than yours. It's better than I could teach you, but I have to try. Anyway, see, stop. Get my ADD triggered. All right. Questions, comments, concerns? Splashdown about 10-ish hours from now. That's what the TFR would dictate. I'm on vacation, so I haven't been looking too close. Steph, are you going to be getting media passes to Epic Universe? I'm headed today. I don't know anything about that, so probably not. I'd love to go play at Epic Universe, but I've not been invited. And that's okay. I'm not over here begging for it. But no, I don't know that I'm going to get there. I'd love to, but yeah. We're going to get that. See, Matt, it's because everybody knows my ADD. Undiagnosed if the FAA is watching. No medication. Okay. All right. Is that it? Are we good? Are we good? We've got a great stretch of weather. Have no idea what I'm going to do with these little kids today. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right. Listen, thank you all for hanging out for Coffee Talk. We'll see you later. Be the sunshine in someone else's day.